my name's Catherine, I run Kids Be Deadly, and I'm here today because we're quite excited because our Kickstarter goods have started to come in. For those of you that don't know, I'll try and recap this as briefly as possible. We used to fund making collections which cost tens of thousands of pounds by going to trade shows and selling our goods to shops, and then they would give us a deposit, and that's how we pay for the goods from the factory and get collections in and then sell them to you. But as most small brands have found recently, and I think even big designer brands, there aren't that many shops left, and the ones that are tend to be quite conservative. So this year we took it to you instead, directly through Kickstarter, and thank you to everybody who pledged. There's about 125 of you, so I'm not going to say thank you to each individual person on this video, but we have now had the production samples. A production sample, unlike a sample that we might use for photography or for working from initially, is a sample that is exactly the way it should be when you get it, when it's come straight from the factory through us to you. So they turn up in plastic bags. That stops them from getting mucky, even if the postmen do horrible, horrible things to the parcel. In the case of the bras, they've put tissue paper in. I've got no idea why, because this is actually a non-padded bra, which means it doesn't really need to be kept in a particularly booby shape. This one's the 32F sample, which is the fuller bust. So we're doing 32, 34 and 36 B to G. I will take you through some of the details in case you didn't see it when we were doing the Kickstarter. So we've got power net wings. We use quite a heavy duty power net, which is quite different to high street stuff, which tends to use much stretchier, looser mesh for bra wings. All the hardware on this set is gold, including the suspender clips, because it just looked really weird to do a black and gold set with silver metal, even though that's the standard. We used a lurex weave all over lace for the main cups and the main front of the bra. This shows up very differently in different lights, so sometimes it looks spanglier and sometimes it looks less spangly. In person it's pretty glittery. It's a floral pattern and with a kind of net in between the flowers, and on the bra it's backed by stabiliser netting so that the front of the bra here is pretty much non-stretch. And so that the cups keep some shape, although they are not padded, they are semi-sheer. As far as I remember, it doesn't go completely see-through when you photograph it in flash photography, just for those of you who are maybe contemplating wearing it out as a top. But don't quote me on that, make sure you test it first. The top is done in a gold foiled lace, so it's lace that was specifically taken for us and somebody carefully had to make it shinier. Then it's finished with black satin bows, and also this black satin sling, which is lightly padded, but for the Americans among us, it is a light padding. It's not like the really thick heavy duty padding that most American bras use. It's fairly gentle, but it does help give a bit of lift and support. The cup is a 3-part cup, so if I turn it inside out, you can see there's 2 parts there with a seam up the middle and a top section. Other than that, I'm not sure what else I can tell you. We've only made about 120 of these, so they're already going quite fast. They'll be due in hopefully in a couple of weeks. Then we've got the girdle. This is a long line girdle, but we haven't put it quite as high up, and we haven't put the waist contouring lines that we would usually put in. Instead, the shape comes from the actual shape of the girdle itself. So we've got a non-stretch centre panel, which again is the gold lurex lace with a stabiliser net underneath it. Then the rest of it is the power net, and then it's got the little hip fin side seams, and also at the back 2 seams to make it curvier here. Round the top is a fairly thick elastic to help it stay up. As you can see, I'm not a size small. The gold foiled lace comes in like this, and at the bottom we've got 6 garter tabs, all of which are gold. They're a new type of garter tab for us. They've got a slightly longer, thinner little tab bit for those of you that get really obsessed with your suspender tabs, which we think should help them stay in better, because that's the feedback that we're getting, is that the more longer the tabs are, the better it is for you. Black satin ribbons and black satin bows. Does up with a hook and eye at the back. There's 3 rows of hooks and eyes, so there's a relative amount of flexibility in the sizing. That's the inside. And it's got a curvy layer to it as well, so it's lower at the front than it is at the back, which is really helpful if you're trying to go to the loo, because trying to negotiate your knickers under your girdle can be a little awkward. The knicker we've made from the same lace. It's very similar to the Van Mini shape and the Serena shape that we've done a few times. We haven't put any liner in, so it's much more sheer. So it's literally just the lace, there's no net underneath. It's got the gold foil lace frill around the leg and a black satin ribbon at the back rather than the front, because if you put it at the front it looks really odd underneath the gown. So that's the gold Angelou set.